Hello friends, I am Mohini Patil from Kekeva Polytechnic Nasik, and in this session I am going to discuss about the software process frame. So let us start with what do you mean by the software process? A process is basically said to be a collection of activities, actions and tasks that are performed when some work product is to be created. So whatever activities you are conducting, that activities are broken down into actions, actions are broken down into small tasks, and then we complete these tasks, and after completing all the tasks, actions and activities, a work product is built. That is called, or the steps that we follow in creation of that work product can be called as a process. Now, it is not a very rigid prescription of how to build a computer software, but it is an adaptable approach. Okay, so it is not a thing that you will have a very well defined and well documented same set of steps which you can follow for each and every software project, because depending upon the requirements of the project the steps are going to change. But a software process is something which is going to give you a guideline of how to do the work, how to choose your appropriate set of work actions and tasks, and then complete your project. So, process or a software process in particular is nothing but a guideline which is going to give you a set of activities, actions, and tasks which you can select or which you can choose depending upon the requirements of your project, and then you can implement it in order to get your work done. So, what is the purpose of the software process? The main purpose of it is to help you deliver your project on time and to implement the quality in your project. So, quality in this manner is respected to the satisfaction of the customer. Okay, so whoever is your client, whoever is your customer who has sponsored the creation of your software, that will be done because you are following a good software process. So, good software process aims for the delivery of your software on time and with quality that is as per the expectation of your client or whoever has sponsored your project. Okay, so this is about software process. Now let us see what is a software process framework. So whatever software activities you are conducting for implementing your project, that is a part of a framework which we call as a software process framework. So software process framework is basically a collection of software activities that form the base for your software development process. It consists of number of activities which are applicable to all the software engineering projects regardless of their size, regardless of their cost, and regardless of their time. Okay, so some of the activities are such that you are going to apply it for all the type of software projects. Some are the ones which may be specific to some software project, but at the core you are going to follow some of the activities in a particular way, and that is what we call as a software process framework. Every framework activity is further broken down into actions. So action is what? It is nothing but a set of related tasks that produce the work product. Now what do you mean by a work product? Work product is an intermediate output that you get after the completion of a particular activity. For example, whenever you are gathering the requirements from the customer, after the completion of gathering of requirements, you will note it down somewhere. So whatever that document you prepare, it becomes the work product of your requirements gathering activity. Similarly, when you are coding, whatever coding files are generated, that become your intermediate work product. So like this, whatever collection of tasks you are conducting in order to produce a work product, we generally call it as a software engineering action. Okay, so whenever you are developing a software product, it is very much necessary to follow a series of predictable steps, and these are the steps which are going to give you a roadmap, or they are going to guide you, assist you to develop a very good quality product. And this is what we basically called as a software process or a software process framework. Now this framework is represented with this particular chart, where we can see that there is a common process framework which we are going to discuss, which is applicable to all the software projects. This is broken down into two parts, that is framework activities and the umbrella activities. Framework activities are the general activities which are conducted for each and every software project. Okay, these activities are broken down into task set, which we call as action. Every action has a number of tasks. It has specific milestones. Milestones give you an idea about the project of the progress of your project. That is how much part has been completed and how much part is remaining. It also has deliverables, that is after the completion of that particular task set, what is the thing that you are going to deliver. So it may be in the form of a document, it may be in the form of a code, it may be in the form of an executable, so whatever it is, but every task set or action, when it is completed, it is going to deliver something to someone. And for quality maintenance, we make use of SQA points, which stands for software quality assurance. So remember this thing, that the common process framework is broken down into two parts, that is framework activities and umbrella activities. Framework activities are the ones which are generic and are applicable to all the software projects. These activities are broken down into task sets or actions. Every action is further broken down into tasks. It is going to have some milestones, it is going to deliver something, and it is going to have some quality checkpoints. Besides this framework activities, there are some umbrella activities, and these umbrella activities will vary from project to project. Not every software project is going to require the same set of umbrella activities. So this is about the common process framework. Now let us discuss the generic framework activities. Generic framework activities, as the name suggests, are the activities which are common to all your software projects. So whether it's a small project, whether it's a medium-sized project, whether it's a large project, depending upon the size of your team, the time, the cost, anything, any parameter is not going to affect these generic framework activities. They are common to all the project and they will be conducted in the same fashion. Okay. So let us discuss these 5 generic framework activities. The first one is communication. The communication activity is responsible to gather the requirements of the software. So whatever the software you are going to develop, first you need to know what does that software going to do? What are the various features and what are the various functions which we need to implement in that software? So that software team can define the features and the functions of the software that is to be developed. So this part is done during communication. So the basic part of communication activity is to meet up with the client, gather the requirements and note it down so that your software team gets to know what is to be done. Once your communication activity is completed, you go to the second activity, that is planning. Now, whenever you have gathered the requirements, but in order to implement those requirements, you should have a proper good plan. Why is this plan required? Because until and unless you are doing proper planning of the things to be done, you are not going to have an idea about how to start and how to stop. So plan is something which acts as a map. Okay, and when you're going to follow that map by the this map will be followed by the project development team when they will be developing a software. So to have a clear idea about how we are going to proceed, we should have a software project plan ready. Now what is the thing that is given in the software plan? So it defines the schedule of your project, that is the overall timeline for your project, which activity will be started when should it end, who is the team member responsible for that activity, what will be the role of each team member, how much cost we are going to bear for this project, what will be the deadlines for every module or for integration or for the overall project, what will be the delivery dates, all these things. Okay, then along with this, what technical tasks are to be completed, what tools we are able to use, what are the risks that can come in future, and what should be the priorities of each module. So all these things are properly planned during your second phase, that is, or second activity, that is planning. Once your planning is completed, we move on to the third activity, that is modeling. So in this activity, the software team is going to design a model of that software. Now, why do we need this activity in the first place? The thing is that if modeling is not done, the requirements will be gathered by your team and they will be given to the development team, and development team will start working. Now say for example they have worked for 3-4 months. After 3-4 months, 1 or 2 modules are ready. You give it to the customer, and the customer is completely shocked with the output whatever they have received. So what is happening here? There is a gap. Customer told something, team understood something else, and they implemented it. But now what the point is that when the customer has denied the output, again you have to rework and you have to prepare everything again. So in order to reduce this gap and to reduce the wastage of time and money and cost, what we do is we have the modeling activity. So modeling activity will be designing your software. Like for example, in the architecture field, whenever we go for the construction of a house or a building, okay, at that time what happens is the architect, he will first plan out the things. He will tell you the approximate estimation about what will be the cost of that house, how much budget will be required, and how much time will be taken in order for the completion. And once you have decided everything, he will also show you the plan, the rough plan about how the things will be arranged in your house. What will be the position of the hall, what will be the position of the kitchen, okay, what will be the position of the bedrooms, where will be the windows, where will be the doors. All these things he will be going to display it in a plan. So plan will give you an idea about this, but the real working model will not be visualized by you. So what that architect will do is he will prepare a small rough model, uh, a small model, and he will show it to you. After seeing that model, you will get an idea about how your final product will look like. So in a similar fashion, we have the modeling activity of software. So here the team will create a design model of the software. In this, maybe they will make use of some diagrams, they will make use of some flowcharts, algorithms, or they will make use of some rough designs, prototypes. All these things will be prepared, which will be giving an idea to the customer as to what will be a part of the final product. Once this model is described in a best possible way, customer will visualize it, he will be able to understand the features and function, and then he will say, okay, the model looks good to me, I'm getting an idea about how the final product will be, and he will give you a green signal. So once it is received, you go to the next stage, that is construction. So the fourth activity in our generic process framework is the construction activity. So once your models are finalized, they will be given to your developers. Developers will take that model and they will start with the coding part. Once the coding is done, the testing part will begin. The testing part will find out all the bugs and errors present in the code, and testing is very much essential to check the quality of your software, whether all the software possesses all the features which were stated by the customer. So construction is a generic framework activity which consists of two parts again. One part is coding or development, and the other part is the testing part. Once your construction activity is completed, then you go to the last part, that is the deployment. Deployment is the activity where you actually deliver the software to the customer. The customer will evaluate the software, he will provide the feedback to the team after using the software, and based on the feedback, then the development team will keep on making the changes for improving the quality or for incorporating the new features that are requested. Okay, so a quick revision of the framework activities, generic framework activities. First one is communication, where you gather the requirements. Second one is the plan, where you prepare a proper schedule, you find out the risk, you determine the estimation of cost and time. Third activity is modeling, where you prepare the models or the designs of the software to better understand the requirements. Then you go for construction. Construction consists of development and testing. And finally, when everything is done, you deliver it to the customer, which is a part of the activity called as deployment. So in deployment, the customer will evaluate the software, give you the changes, or he will request for new changes, and accordingly the team will move further. Okay, so these are the 5 framework activities which are used by almost all the projects. So there is no project which is not going to use these activities. So this is hence they are called as the generic framework activities. Okay. Second type of activities which we are going to discuss now are the umbrella activities. Umbrella activities are the subsidiary activities or we can say they are the complementary activities. It is not necessary that each and every project will be requiring each and every umbrella activities, but they are the activities which will help the team manage and control the progress, quality, change, and risk of your project. So depending upon your project size and project requirements, these umbrella activities will vary. The first activity in this is software project tracking and control. Now, what is this activity? It will make you assess the progress against the plan and take the actions to maintain the schedule. So it is responsible for, or it is used by the project manager. What he will do is, whatever things have been planned, he will try to find out whether those things are working according to plan or not. And if it is not going according to the plan, then he will take immediate actions so that we can maintain the schedule, so that your project does not get delayed. Okay, so those activities are called as project tracking and control activities. Second one is risk management. This activity is responsible for finding out the risk that may affect the outcome and the quality of your software. So what is basically a risk? A risk is something which is of danger to your software. It may or may not come in the software process, but if the risk comes in the project, then it is surely going to disrupt something, or it is surely going to cause you some loss. So it is always good to be prepared for such risk, especially when your projects are of large size or of longer time. Okay, so risk management activities are the ones which will find out and check all the risk associated with your project, and also if these risks come up in future, then how you should handle it. That is done by the risk management. Third one is software quality assurance. These are the activities which are conducted to make sure that quality is a part of your software. Okay, so to implement quality, whatever are the standard procedures, policies that you are going to use, that are a part of software quality assurance. Next one is technical reviews. Technical reviews are the ones which in which you assess the work products to find out and remove the errors before going to the next activity. So technical reviews are nothing but they are some formal meetings in which the people discuss about whatever work has been done. If there are any errors, then those are discussed, those are found out, and those are removed before going to the next activity. So a review is just a follow-up of whatever work has been done. Next one is measurement. Measurement activity is responsible for defining and collecting the process, project, and product measures to make sure that the stakeholders' needs are met. Okay, so here whatever things you are collecting, you are trying to check out whether whatever the customer has requested, whether we are completing it. So that measurement activities are responsible for checking this. Next one is software configuration management. Change is inevitable. That is, software is going to change over a period of time. Some or the other thing is going to change. A new feature will be added. One of the feature which may not be of use, that may be removed. So these changes are very frequent in software development. So software configuration management is a part of software activity wherein the change is managed. Whenever some change comes to your software, how to handle that change, how to absorb that change, that is handled by the software configuration management. Next one is reusability management. This activity is responsible for defining the products which can be reused. Okay, and it establishes a process to reuse the components. So reusability is important because when you have done things in the past projects, that can be reutilized in your future projects in order to save time, money, effort. So reusability management may be applicable to some of the projects where you're going to take similar type of projects. So that time reusability management activity will be responsible for finding out all such components that can be reused. Okay. Next is work product preparation and production. If your projects are very large and if it's a iterative project which is going to span for long years, then in such case you have to have a separate activity which is going to keep a track of what are the work products, they are prepared, how they are submitted to the customer. So that is called as work product preparation and production. So it may be a model, it may be various documents, it may be logs, it may be some codes, so everything. So over the period of time when you want to maintain the work product, so that time you can have a separate activity as work product preparation. And okay, so this is about the software process framework. In this, we have discussed two activities: generic framework activities and umbrella activities. Generic framework activities are the ones which are applicable to all the software projects, whereas umbrella activities are not applicable to all the projects. They will depend upon the project, and accordingly you can select the umbrella activities. So this was all about software process framework. Thank you.